Hello everybody and welcome to the Real Housewives Edit. My name is Elle and I'm here talking about the two loves of my life, editing and housewives. Well you guys, this has been so much fun. We are on video 3 after a 2-year hiatus. Your guys' comments of course have been amazing. I have absolutely loved getting updates from all of you and hearing that you're loving the videos again. I know that it's going to be a little rusty, you know, at the start. I still don't have a setup, obviously no background, just me. I know my sound is a little tinny because I'm in this corner of this room. A lot of things I understand that I need to fix, but thank you for bearing with me while we just have fun doing this work. I had so many amazing comments last video, but one that really stuck out to me about, some feedback for the channel, which is, what if you cover a scene that you find boring? And I have never thought about that. I think it's an incredible idea. We can really kind of break down why maybe a scene isn't working for us or isn't pulling us in. So I'm going to do that today. I'm going to cover Real Housewives of Potomac, cover Real Housewives of OC, which is the scene that I find I wouldn't say it's necessarily boring, just not a scene that drew me in. And we'll talk about a lot of that. Of course, it has to do with Tamra, which you guys know, my thoughts on Tamra. I think she's, I just don't love her for the show, let's put it that way. So when she's on screen, there's just something that's not clicking for me. So I thought, let's go through and see, what in this scene, what is not clicking. And I'd love to hear your guys' response. If you don't like this, if you like kind of the more exciting scenes, the more noteworthy scenes, we're also going to cover those in this episode today. And there's always timestamps in the description. I think that's it. Let's just jump right into it.
You can't trust me? I thought that we were close, and for you to say that just hurts my feelings so bad that I just don't even want to be in this group.
Okay, let's stop there. So first, of course, they do your establishing shot, on her house. It's got these pink lights. I'm actually not sure what's going on there. What do the pink lights signify? Is that her normal, everyday look? Is it a holiday? I'm confused. But okay, so she has some lights on her house. We're getting the establishing shot. You can hear her voice start before we even see her. Obviously, this scene had started, before the commercial break or whatever. And now she's talking to Heather. The reason I wanted to talk about this scene is because, to me, I know what Tamra was going for, and when I say going for, I really mean that because I do think Tamra tries to produce a lot. I see her always saying one-liners that she thinks are going to be, put in a really significant part of the episode, and I see the editors not giving her that glory and with those lines, which is why I think that the editors don't like Tamra.
That's my opinion!
Here I can tell this is just my take. Totally alleged, whatever you want to call it, this is my opinion. I feel like she really thinks that this is going to be a monumental scene in the season. She's having her breakdown, she's going through a really tough time in her life with Teddy being sick. And now she's, feeling like everyone's against her. I feel like that's always kind of her narrative, everyone's against me, but then she's always so mean to everyone. I don't know why everyone wouldn't be against her, but I don't think that that's I don't think that's clicking. And okay, I'm just going to go off on a little tangent. This is going to be a tough one to say. But I actually think that Tamra, without the show, I think there's a good person in there. I'm just going to say it. I think a lot of people will disagree with me, but I personally don't think she's as much of the villain at her true core than she comes off on TV. Now, I'm not saying she goes home and she's a totally different person. I'm saying she's been on the show for years and years and years, and I do think that nobody is ready for fame. No one. That's why these shows become so interesting, because pretty much everyone who gets on these shows in their own right are not ready for what comes, and how they react is really the, where we get the drama, or where we get kind of oh, this is really who they really are. So her version to me of not being ready for fame, because of course she was there, many years ago. I don't even know how long she's been on this or associated with the Real Housewives. But, when I first started watching her, I feel like there has been an evolution of sorts, devolution, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so to me, I feel like a lot of this is put on. And so she waffles to me between wait, this isn't really who I am, but at the same time, I know what you all are going to say, so, and I agree with you. Okay, let's just get that out of the way. Okay. Oh my gosh, what a tangent. I'm so sorry. Here's the thing. With Tamra, I feel like she thought this was going to be a moment. She thought that we were all going to be crying with her. You know, I don't know if you guys have ever watched a movie where you're crying with your main character, right? When they cry, you cry because you're so connected to them. You've gone through so much with them. You really feel for them. You really want them to win. A great example, I don't know if you guys have ever seen Better Call Saul, the show. That's a great example of a character piece, right? You go through so much with Saul, and he's not perfect. You know, you don't have to be perfect to be a very well-liked character. We all know that. Saul goes through a lot of things, and there are moments in that show where he's feeling super down, like where you just feel down just as much as he does, you know, cry or not cry. But anyway, I feel like Tamra in this moment thinks that we're going to be crying with her. Why aren't we crying with her? I doubt any of you were crying with her. First of all, these tears are so fake. We all know that. I think something that housewives do is they underestimate their audience. When they underestimate the audience, it is a killer for them. These tears are fake. You can hear she's trying to scrunch up her voice. None of this emotion is real. It's coming from a place of trying to, you know, put something on. So that's why I would consider this to be honestly a boring scene. I find Heather to be coming through with a lot more of like real emotion, but she's also not feeling any emotion from Tamra, I'm sure, in real life. So there's a lot of just kind of like, she's almost like, how do I even respond to this? I don't know. I've been in situations where I can tell someone's putting stuff on and I feel nothing. So the conversation is like, this conversation isn't even real because you think I'm dumb. Like you think I actually am falling for this for whatever reason she's doing it. So yeah, let's keep going. Let's see how the editing kind of tries to maybe gild the lily a bit on this scene, but I don't think they do much for her.
I don't want to be in this group anymore.
My feelings were hurt too, and as friends, we should be able to talk about this. But you don't want to hear what I have to say, and the first time...
you don't want to hear what I have to say.
Okay, so you have the music in the background, right? It's definitely not feeling like, I think maybe what Tamra was hoping for in the edit was like some music that made you feel a little bit more for her, maybe feel a little bit more sentimental for what she's feeling, what she's going through. But instead you're kind of getting that curious music, which is, I'm sorry, that's the best I can do with my descriptor, but it does have sort of like a, okay, the conversation's pending, we're figuring out what's going on here. Heather's coming back to her with some very valid points, like, you don't want to hear what I want to say. Like, I have said this to you before and you have basically shut it out. And so now that I say it again, now you're upset. I've tried to address this with you.
I heard what you have to say.
And I heard what you had to say.
Okay, well then we
you
don't
were
agree.
very, very aggressive with me.
I
when
know
I sat
you
down
think
at
I
the
was
lowest
aggressive.
time of my fucking...
So again, like, we're not getting any help from the editors here, right? She's not getting any knife sharpening sounds, no booms, no sentimental music when she's saying I'm in the lowest time of my life and she's looking so angry. No vulnerability there. It's not doing what she thinks is happening.
You were so aggressive with me and it hurt my feelings so bad that you don't even know.
I was worried about you and wanted to hear from you.
Calls from you?
Excuse me, I called you that night. I spoke...
Okay, so they have to do a flashback here, right? Because Tamra, just imagine if we just played this scene out with no flashbacks, no music, no nothing. We would be like, Tamra's crazy, because what is she even talking about? Aggressive, I don't remember it. And now we're flashing back to Heather talking to her. And really what they're doing is like, you make your opinion on what is Heather being aggressive here, right? To me, I don't see an aggressive person. I actually speak like this. That's why maybe I have a soft spot in my heart for Heather, but when I'm like really adamant on a point, I will seem like I'm being mad, like right now. Like she has that a little bit. But what she's doing, just defending her, because it feels like me, is she's being very like specific. This is what happened and this is what I've tried to do and you're not listening to me, right? Aggressive honestly feels more like what Tamra's doing in the scene, where it's kind of like coming at you. It doesn't have a lot of substance. It's just kind of like barking at you. But I feel like I can feel Heather's frustration in this. Maybe what she's, saying is aggression is maybe just frustration. elegant frustration, if you will.
I spoke to you on FaceTime, you hung up on me, and when I text you, are you okay? Where are you? You know what you do? You text me. You reach out. Okay.
So they let that whole clip play out because to me, I think they're just trying to debunk what Tamra's saying, right? She's saying you were aggressive with me. All Heather's doing is giving her pure receipts. And then she gives a response like, okay. Like she has nothing to say because she knows it's all true. Heather did reach out to her. She did come back, telling her what she thought.
I don't agree that I was aggressive to you.
Okay.
I sat down with you. I tried to tell you this thing about my dad. You did not want to listen to it. You remind me a little bit of my dad.
Okay, so now we're doing this little vamping music.
You remind me a little bit of my dad in public.
Which I think always is kind of like a reveal. We've seen this so many times in the Housewives before. When they start doing this vamping music, we're about to reveal something, right? So Heather says, I told you something about my dad. And she's like, Tamra blows that off. The editors are like, let's show Tamra. Let's show her.
My dad, in public with our family, he would have like these outbursts.
I don't have outbursts in my family in public.
I'm trying to explain where I
Okay, so we did get a knife sharpening sound there when Tamra said something that was completely self-centered and had absolutely nothing to do with what Heather was saying.
I don't have outbursts in my family in public.
Heather was just, she was telling her something about herself, but also saying like, I relate to some of your outbursts like this. And then Tamra totally takes it literally and is like, I don't do that to my family. It's like, well, Heather's not talking to you about your family. She's talking about your relationship. So they bring this up. The editors, they do that knife sharpening sound like, what the heck? This doesn't make sense. Like, okay.
The problem is, I tell Tamra my feelings, and she gets angry and says, you're wrong. I mean, it's daunting. Because if I can't be honest with you, how can we be friends?
Okay. So I think this becomes more what the scene is about, unfortunately, for Tamra, because I think Tamra thought it was going to be her big, a crown jewel of a scene in the show, and this would be her crying moment, her glory moment, whatever you want to call it. Really, it turns into, to me, something where Heather's kind of going like, look, I've tried everything, and you're not reciprocal or in this relationship, and yeah, so I'm going to be honest with people, and I'm going to be honest with you, and you can fake cry all you want. That's the vibe of the scene I got.
Heather, you don't like me.
That is so, oh my God, that is so silly. Tamra.
On another note, this is my least favorite thing in the world when people do things like this. They have nothing, so they'll go to something that is just baseless, is the word that I would come to, and also it just disarms everything, because then the only thing the other person can do is start defending themselves, that of course, oh my God, I love you, I do this for you, I do that. So it puts you on your heels a little bit, right? Puts Heather back into this like, let me talk you into this mode. The only other option that you have in that type of moment with anyone, if anyone has a friend gaslighting them like this, please don't let them do it, because really the only other option you have is to be like, you're crazy, and to just walk away and be like, you know what, I'm not even talking to you. And then what can that person say? They can go, oh my gosh, she told me I was crazy and she just walked away from the conversation, blah, blah, blah. So it's a trap. Don't fall for it.
I did over and over again. I've only been nothing but nice to you.
That's ridiculous. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
Fake crying again. We feel nothing. I don't know if you guys felt anything, but again, this is why this is not a scene that I would typically cover, because it was boring to me, did nothing for me. If anything, it just, made me feel a little bad for Heather even having to put up with this in a way. They do the music as she's walking away.
Ridiculous. That's not true.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
They're trying here, but they're not trying very hard. You could edit this scene, probably make it a lot shorter, and just go with the like, you don't like me part, and kind of like soften Tamra a bit, but they did not soften her. They let this whole moment play out. I'm telling you, I just don't think they like her.
Have you ever given these women any reason that stress you?
I mean, it just makes me sad. I know I'm not perfect.
Okay, so the editors did it there, right? He said, have you ever given these women a reason not to trust you? Great question, producer, love you. she has to stop, and they stop that music.
I mean, it just makes me sad.
Because they want it to be very clear that she never says the word no. She just says it's very sad, which is, you know, gotta give it to her. She's not gonna lie.
I know I'm a good person. I'm not a liar. I'm not a cheater. So for them to say they don't trust me, that feels like it's an attack on my character. And it makes me just want to shut down.
Okay. I think shutting down is like her tactic. Again, if you are around someone who likes to shut down just to shut you out, run. Communication is a mature person. This is not mature behavior. Notice that she's trying to leave the scene, Tamra is, and who actually ends up leaving the scene is Heather. This kind of, you know, they could have also, as editors, cut this out as well and kind of made it seem like Tamra was leaving because she's so distraught. But I actually think leaving this in was interesting because it shows that, like, yeah, Tamra keeps saying she's done with the show, she's trying to leave, but she doesn't really want to leave. None of these feelings, I honestly think, even what she's saying, and this is the biggest problem I have with her, I just don't feel any genuine from her whatsoever. The last time I felt genuine emotion or like real, I don't know, engagement in real things was when she was talking to Gretchen years ago.
What'd you say? Did you go to Bass Lake? No, I did, and he didn't care.
I remember that moment very well because that was a moment with Tamra. Now, maybe it had bad intentions, right? But it was a moment from her that I really felt like she was really interested in that information, right? I just feel like all of this is put on. Every time I see the episodes of her podcast online, I feel like it's put on. I just feel like there's a lot of stuff there that needs to be worked out for us to actually see real emotion. But I don't see it. I don't actually think that she's sad about Heather. I don't. These are my thoughts. I'd love to hear yours.
Okay? No.
No, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Just go?
Okay, I'll go. That's fine.
Are you taking the cake?
Do you need help cleaning up?
No, I'm good.
Okay, so then they kind of go into this music that feels like a little bit, you know, mysterious, a little bit somber. Like, yeah, we're packing up here. This is not going to work. They get the girls coming in, you know, Tamra's in the dress. I think the other thing about this party that was kind of threw my brain off and made me annoyed. I know you guys know I don't like some of these themed parties, especially when they go super extreme. Like, do you remember on Real Housewives of OC when they did this, like, it was for Vicky and they did like this old-timey party? I can't remember. But it was, they all put the makeup on. Oh my gosh, I'll have to find a clip. But I was like, this is extreme. No one would do this in real life. This to me also feels very not Tamra. Like the little dresses and the cake decorating, like that's not Tamra. Okay, she's like, to me, she's like, the shooting thing was very her. The leather jackets, this, like with this trying to do this. Oh, by the way, you see that giant clock? I'm gonna show you, like just in the corner with like the Roman numerals on it. Okay, I told you guys I grew up in Orange County. Every house had one of those. I can't believe she still has one. But like not ours. I would go to friends' houses. Everyone had those clocks. Everyone. So just seeing it. And then like the mantle, like the picture on the mantle with the flower. I mean, this is just, Tamra is OC as they come. OC as they come.
No, I'm good.
No, this is a lot to do. You want to go to bed with this. Are you going to talk or?
The fact that both of you would say that you can't trust me.
This is a great example. You doing that.
Okay, so again, now she's trying to get her moment again. You know, now I have both of them in the room. They can't leave because they have to clean up. They're, you know, nice people. They're going to clean up. And then Heather explodes. And again, I just think, you know, Tamra, I think, really thought this scene was going to come out different, which is why I just don't think anytime someone's trying to produce, it's just bad news because the editors are going to get you. They're going to try to bring out the truth. I'm sure there's, you know, the bad edit thing, you know, everyone says they have a bad edit or a villain edit this season or whatever. I just think it's the real thing. This is the real thing. She can try to put on all she wants, but the editors are not going to help her with that. You know why? Because to me, why I even started this channel is because I think the editors on The Real Housewives they really represent us in a way. I feel like they are us. I feel like they're spectators. They also respect us. They respect our intelligence, if you will. They never try to kind of, make us feel a certain type of way when they know that we're smarter than that. They really understand that we can't be fooled. So they don't try to fool us. They do what they perceive as actual reality.
This constantly quitting, getting so angry.
I'm dealing with the most difficult thing in my life right now, and you are not helping.
Oh my God. Do you see the
Okay, so here's a great example of the editors again. Really not giving Tamra what she wanted. She wanted that explosion to be where the music goes and then they cut in silences and everyone's looking sad and Tamra's got the face but no one's buying this. I don't know if you are. I'm not buying it. I don't feel like she's going through the most difficult time. Teddy is definitely, but it's just me. I'm sure it's hurting her, but it's almost like disrespectful. She had that outburst, and what did they do? They cut to Gina, and Gina's like, oh my God. And then you can hear the fighting inside the house. So the drama immediately goes from like Tamra's moment, what she thought was going to be her moment, to this outside, like, ugh, here we go again type of energy. And man, the editors just killed her with that because it's not, the drama she wanted.
Do you see the visceral reaction from I don't trust me? She's a great cookie. Well, I opened it up. Great cookie. Yeah. Looks like a little castle. It's a little...
Again. Okay, so the music changes to a lighter note, right? She's talking about the cookie. Definitely, they like to always do that contrast, right? Drama to like a lighter note. But if it's a real drama, they'll be cautious with it. Here, they know this drama that Tamra's having is just not real. So, of course, they're going to bring them in going like, oh, well, what's her problem? And then Gina talking about a cookie. So it's like they're not taking this seriously. And guess what? We as the audience are not either.
Apple, it's a little dry.
Maybe a little milk. Thank you for being a friend. Thank you. Thank you for understanding, too. I appreciate it.
I know that you're upset.
I'm going to do my best to really compose myself here, but can you imagine getting in fights with this person? Like, I think Eddie's a really nice guy. I'm sure Eddie tries to like stay out of drama with his wife as much as possible. I think he's just trying to live life and, work out and protein powder and just, bike ride. That's what I see with Eddie. Oh my gosh, the gaslighting, the sarcasm, all the stuff in this conversation where she's making Heather looks like Heather's arguing with her teenage daughter. That's what it looks like to me. Heather's being patient, she seems a little bit frustrated, but she's also like a little bit like, what is going on? But Tamra with all this like just childish stuff. I know we got an insight to her mom. I'm sure there's a lot there. And I know we all do some of this stuff. I mean, I've gone through doing this stuff in my life. But I think it was more in my 20s. I'm just going to say, at a certain point, I think we kind of, we should mature enough to be like, you know what, I'm not going to do that in fights anymore, All right, let's keep going.
Talk about this another time.
Sure. Have a great season. I'm done.
Okay.
Absolutely done. Hope you're happy with yourself. It's late. We're all here. Her kitchen's a mess.
It's this thing of like where someone wants you to chase them. I'm such a fan of that. No, if someone wants you to like chase them out of the room, like just let them go and let it be embarrassing for them. Also, let's get this little clip. Do you see this little clip of our cameraman in the window? It's not a window. It's one of those windows that looks very like almost like a mirror, I think. But yeah, we caught a cameraman. We see you. We love you.
He's upset.
We're ready.
We just need to go.
Yeah.
What is happening?
She just quit again.
Just enough.
No, but it's my fault.
No, it's my fault too. She
They're so wrong for that. She just quit again. Now they're all making fun of her, right? And they're like, oh, and she's like, oh, but now this time it's my fault, you know? And no one even believes this, buys this. And these flowers, like Gina's having to lean down her neck. That would be me. I'm like almost 6 feet tall. I would be that in heels like this the whole party, trying to avoid those flowers. It's just, everything just feels so disingenuous. It's just, you know, and I love that the editors didn't try to push us into a feeling. You know, I really think they do a really good job. You know, if the feeling's there, they will enhance it, of course, with some dramatic effect. But if it's not there, they're not going to try to push us into it.
She said, I hope you're happy with yourself. I just can't.
And I'm unprofessional.
Let's go. Okay. Should we bring the cake?
I love anything that breaks the fourth wall. I don't know if you guys have heard that phrase. I know it's like, it's common vernacular, but just in case you haven't heard it, breaking the fourth wall is basically the wall in front of you. Like if actors break the fourth wall, it's like they look at the camera, right? Or look at the people off camera, like the director or something. It's basically like they, you know, are speaking to the audience. Because these are the walls that we see as an audience, these three, and this is the fourth. Shannon even saying there, oh, I'm unprofessional. You can tell she's probably like, yeah, it's really just about the show there. It's like, she's like, oh, Tamra, you know, always calls me unprofessional for whatever. Like, I'm sure she said something about her, you know, on the show. Anyway, that made me laugh. So, okay, that is that scene with the Real Housewives of OC. I would love to hear your guys' take on it. Again, like, you know, breaking down the editing and sound effects and stuff on a scene that maybe isn't as exciting, I think is a great idea. And I'm really grateful that you commented that. I'd just love to hear what you guys think about Tamra and also kind of how they did this. That's a little bit different than some of the other scenes that feel a little bit more genuine. And I think that that's kind of what OC misses out on a lot, is like a genuine nature from people. You know, I think Shannon's got it, but I do think Shannon is a little aware of the cameras more and more. I think Heather used to be more aware of the cameras. I think she's getting less aware. I think she's getting like a better housewife for me. Gina, I think just as a person, makes me laugh. Not the greatest housewife because she's just not like I need like private jets and stuff. Like I need Stephanie on Miami. That's what we need in OC. And there are people like that. They probably just don't want to be on a show. But there are definitely people, I feel like, you know, if you're watching casting, you guys need to go to like Newport Beach, you know. Coto de Casa was perfect. That's where you found Vicky. But even that, like, we need to go Newport. We need to go Newport, definitely like Newport, Laguna Beach. That's Orange County, guys. We need to go there and get some like private jet people, you know. That's kind of what we're missing. I feel like Heather's got it. Of course, Heather's got it, but we need another one. And that's what really helped Miami for me this season, was having Stephanie in there. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love Stephanie for the show. She brought in a whole new kind of, she's unrelatable, but at the same time has some relatable energy. She has the private jets. She's like weird about money, like all the things that we need. But the money thing is very interesting. So yeah, I would just love to see someone like that on OC who's just a little bit, a little bit more delusion. We need some delusion, less knowing where the cameras are, and just a little bit more wealth. That would be my take. But let's move on to our next city. Okay, you guys, next up is Real Housewives of Potomac. This was the scene where Ashley and Stacey were kind of getting into it about the marriage license and all this stuff. Again, with this scene, I actually like Stacey for the show. I think she's great. It's very interesting to watch her navigate these guys. But Ashley, to me, was trying to make something that wasn't something. And I would love to cover this scene because it was dramatic. It was like a cliffhanger from the episode prior. And they were trying to kind of, you know, make this a thing, their fight. But let's just get into it.
You are a full-grown woman who came into this room.
Okay, so every time we get that like boom and we get the push in on the ladies lifting their glasses or lifting their apples or whatever they're holding, you always know that it's going to be something interesting. They're not, you know, it's not starting on like a lighter note. It feels like it's coming in a little bit heavier. It's supposed to grab your attention like, ooh, we got something here, right? And then they do these establishing shots of the party. They show, these women looking beautiful on the patio, these guys dressed very nice talking. Every time you have that going on, you know that they're trying to show some contrast, right? You have this really nice party going on, but you have this fight going on inside, right? And even while they're showing those clips, you can hear the fight going on between Ashley and Stacey, which is like, is there really a fight going on or just an ambush by Ashley to Stacey? Okay.
Misrepresented yourself. Get your you misrepresented yourself.
Okay. So when Stacey says you are the devil, there's a big boom, and then you get this reaction from Ashley, almost like in slow motion. Like, she can't believe that she said that. I don't think that's ever addressed again. Like, she doesn't, I kind of expected her to be like, did you just call me the devil? But there was nothing after that. She just did this little finger thing. I felt like this whole thing was a little bit put on. I feel like Ashley's really trying to keep her place on the show. Ashley, though, and Giselle have this delusion where they're the most hypocritical cast members that have ever crossed our screen. I mean, maybe there's more. Yeah, there's a few more. But Ashley hitting Stacey about her divorce, like being real or not real, or getting back with her husband or not getting back with her husband. First of all, they have a child. Like, you should just leave that alone if they're getting back together. But then to be asking about the lies, Ashley didn't get divorced from Michael Darby for literally, we had to watch it for like 5 seasons of her talking about her divorce. But that wasn't even like because he wasn't giving her the divorce. Obviously, she wanted things to go right, right her way. That's fine. But some of the time she was talking about how he was coming over. We were asking, are they still together? She was like, we're still going out. Do you guys remember all this, or am I taking crazy pills? Because this was Ashley's storyline for a while, that like Michael was still a part of her life, just not on screen. And that she's like almost maybe wanted to get back together, missed him. There was some of that. And now here she is going at Stacey like it's the first time she's ever heard a woman doing this with her ex. I just could not believe that we were even allowing this and that no one else wants to call it out. No one. Like, even Giselle should come in and be like, okay, look, Ashley, you of all people, and Giselle of all people agreeing with her. Giselle brought on, what's his name? Pastor Holy brought him on for another season after they got together, after not being together for like 13 years. What is happening with these women? They are crazy. They're crazy.
To be amicable and be good girlfriends. It's for her to show that she's been divorced, even though she's with the dude. I mean, she's back with him.
She doesn't want to feel like she's been lied to. As far as I know, back in January.
Okay. So Stacey has her guy there to be a kind of like a mouthpiece, while she's doing this like dramatic, champagne drinking. Sometimes when I watch those moments, I'm like, are they just putting those on? But I actually think with Stacey, that is how she would actually look, camera or not. Like, she's very performative to me. Like, and the what was she on? QVC. Those people people that do that are very performative. They're constantly, when they're selling a product, probably everyone, I don't know, I feel old, but QVC like sold products and they just like talk about them and you make up stories. That's very her. So yeah, I don't know. And now Ashley's going to go into it and they have this music, the vamping, again, this music of like, ooh, something's coming, something's coming.
January, Stacey was with old boy TJ. And then here we are, 3 months have passed. You have magically gotten back together with your ex-husband. Your hand is very blingy. What's going on with that hand?
Okay, so they're basically trying to they have to bolster Ashley's speech on her getting back together with her husband and, kind of, showing these flashbacks of her, her hand looks blingy, and then showing these little flashbacks of her with TJ. Ashley needs to, the editor should have done something. You know what? Actually, let's make this segment about how the editors failed us, because they should have been flashing back to Ashley's continuous going back to Michael Darby, no matter what he did.
Is that a wedding ring?
Yeah, my ex-husband and I are trying to work it out.
And that's fine. Just tell the truth. Ma'am, the math is not mathing.
Do I think Stacey is divorced? No. Do I think that Stacey...
So, even more about this segment, when I watch this stuff, and I'm just going to be honest with you guys because you're my besties, and Real Housewives of Potomac is my favorite. I'm worried they have nothing this season. Yeah, that's what I'm worried about, because for this to be such a plot point, her with her husband, I don't really see anything. I could see this if Stacey had done all of them so wrong, right? I get that the TJ thing was kind of annoying. She paid this guy. I don't know why also we're all believing TJ. I think TJ is one of the most angry, like scary people I've ever seen on these shows. And that is, I'll put that, like, he's with Louis for me. I don't know why we're all just taking his word, like his big smile while he's telling this information. I don't know. I don't know what's going to come out there, but we're all just taking that. And they're treating Stacey like she was the most horrible person to them, which when really like her issues are just kind of like going back to her husband, not telling the truth, all things that they've all done. It's so weird.
Stacey wants us to think that she filed for divorce and now she's back with her husband. Yes. Girl, just tell the truth.
And when they're back together. Why do you care? She did not allow.
Yeah, so they're doing that music, you know, they're kind of making it light and fun. Girl, just tell the truth. You know, they're kind of cutting back and forth between these testimonials to kind of get us on board with this narrative of like, Stacey's a liar. She's lying. That's what she does. You know, everyone's on to her, and we as the audience should be on to her as well.
Why do you care? She did not allow. Okay.
Principle is very important to me. We can be a lot of things. We can't be liars.
This is ridiculous.
Okay, see, that was a missed opportunity. They could have flashed back to 1,000 times Ashley telling lies. That would have been so... Editors, we missed it. Because that there would have really brought us in. We would have said, this is good. Let's open something up from the past, because they are really going hard on Stacey. And there are such perfect examples of this exact behavior with all of them.
When it comes to me, I meet you with vulnerability. And in my mind at this time, I'm like, okay, either Wendy is socially awkward when I see her in public, or I'm missing something here. Okay, so really what they're doing is they're going back and forth between these two kind of altercations, fights, arguments, whatever you want to call them. You got Stacey and Ashley over here, you know, fighting over Stacey's divorce. You have, you know, Kay coming to Zen Wen, telling her that she was cold to her at this, you know, event, which I believe 110%. I don't know about you guys, but I could so see her doing this. I also saw this moment where Wendy said something to the new girls in Potomac. We're like, welcome to the group. And I was like, oh, she's feeling herself a little bit too much for me, personally. When the housewives started to get into this, like, cast, like, we are the cast and you guys are coming in and I'm a gatekeeper. It's like, Wendy, you hated that when you first came in. The gatekeeping, I don't personally love seeing it. I like seeing it when it's organic, but I don't like seeing it like we're a cast and you're cast members coming into our cast and you have to kiss the ring type of thing. I saw that a little with Wendy. Maybe she needs a humbling. Just saying.
Okay, so just to show you how we have different ways in which we friend, you're even saying, like, if I'm on the stage, I should wave. Then you say for the NAACP, I didn't know if I was coming. I didn't.
So they're giving this music sort of like, okay, here she's coming back. You know, it's got a little energy to it. You're getting reaction shots from Kay. I don't know what you guys are all thinking, but every time Kay says, like, you're being condescending, I feel that. She is being condescending to Kay. But she's gaslighting her to make her feel like she's not being condescending, that she's just talking to her. What do you guys think? I'd love to hear.
Because my kids were sick. I actually told them that.
It's like there was a miscommunication.
I just don't like to be gaslighted and acting like all of a sudden this is just so, you're so above the things that I'm saying.
Yes. Okay. So she said it. Maybe she planted that idea in my head, but it does feel like that. Like she's kind of going through like, oh, you wanted me to do this. You wanted me to do this. But it doesn't feel like genuine kind of conversation. It feels like someone talking down to someone. That's what I felt.
Well, have you guys made progress?
We have made progress, but it's the same thing. When I feel like it's a bit dismissive in the moment.
Where do we go from?
Okay, so the music starts to come up right when the two arguments have now become one. You've got Ashley coming in asking what's going on here. You have Stacey leaving. You have Giselle cluing in Ashley, and the music starts to get more energetic.
I feel like it's a bit dismissive in the moment.
almost like a volcano is about to erupt. Like, what's going to happen? What's Ashley going to say about Stacey? What's Stacey going to come in and say, right?
We go from here as a group. Stacey, you are a part of this group. Tia,
Hi.
welcome.
Thank you.
Angel, welcome. And
That was the moment for me. I didn't realize it was in this scene. Yeah, this was the moment where she kind of did her like, welcome, like you guys are down here and we're up here and you guys are blessed to be a part of this group. Yeah, I didn't like that part.
and I want all of us to flow.
You know Stacey be lying. Kay, didn't you tell me that Stacey told you that she has a charade and she doesn't intend to drop the charade?
Totally, and like Norman. Totally.
What did I say to you?
Totally, and like Norman, we're talking to TJ in the room. And
Okay, so what's interesting about these parts, like in Potomac, where you have, it's almost just like a steady, like going up the roller coaster. And we as an audience are feeling like, when is this going to drop off? Because there's been no breaks, no pauses, no nothing from this, no really comedic moments. We've had two kind of arguments, uncomfortable arguments going on. When is our release point, right? It's very well, sometimes these scenes, they put these scenes in to kind of build tension so that down the line or the episode, you know, later in the episode, the tension can be released with a girls trip or a conversation, you know, a lunch out or something like that. But they are kind of ramping the music a little bit more each part of the scene to kind of give us that like, something's gonna break soon.
totally, and like Norman, we're talking to TJ in the room, and I said, Stacey, are you ever going to show the girls exactly who you are, like kind of break character? He was like, oh, absolutely not.
Hey, every time we have an interaction with each other, you come from a place of negativity
Please,
and aggression.
Stacey, stop it.
You want to fight every other time.
If I want to fight, you know I know how to fight, Stacey.
Okay, so now, it's coming to, you know, the top of the roller coaster. Now these two fights have melded into one, and now Stacey's fighting someone else. The one that was fighting with Wendy is now fighting with Stacey instead of Ashley. It's just kind of, I'm feeling as an audience member watching this, like, when's it going to end? All of this feels a little bit empty, a little bit hollow. I'd like to get to a little bit of a deeper conversation here. Sometimes, yeah, I think maybe we're in a season here in Potomac that there's not going to be a lot of kind of like the heavier stuff. You know, last season it was Karen. It's just, I hope I'm wrong. We're only 2 episodes in. Tell me what you guys think. I would love to hear if you have the same thoughts on Potomac as me.
Don't do that. You know that. She's not a negative person at all.
Whenever she talks to me, she is.
But she doesn't strike me as negative. She's not.
Really?
I'm standing up for my friend.
Okay, so they're really just showing like it's everyone against Stacey, right? I mean, even the way that it's set up, everyone's sitting down together, Stacey's standing up. Every time the editors are kind of cutting this scene, I'm sure there was a lot more said, but they're really just showing like everyone's supporting this side of the couch, no one's supporting Stacey, which is, listen, if you want to stay on the show, I would stick with Stacey because Stacey's delusional enough to stay on the show. I do not like when housewives try to cling on to their, you know, peach or whatever it is, or their, you know, glass of champagne by like going against some. I'm just like, you're like, I would choose, if I was really trying to be strategic, I'd be like, you know what, I'm going to get in with Stacey over here because I'm going to keep my spot that way. Somehow.
I don't understand why this group of women has suddenly turned against me. Quite frankly, I am being unjustly beat down. I want to talk to you.
Okay, so that's really the end of what I'm going to talk about, but it does kind of do that. The music definitely resolves there.
Beat down. I want to talk to you.
The release of the tension really comes from what she says there. She's just like, everyone's against me and it's unnecessary and unjust. And I think that's kind of where they want to leave it in that scene. Like, yes, that's how Stacey feels. Everyone feels totally against her and they're just going to, you know, drop the scene there because it needs to be resolved over the season. I think this is kind of going to be the main thing. Everyone's got an issue with Stacey and it's going to be kind of slowly resolved over the season. We'll kind of see where things go with her. I think Stacey is, God, robotic qualities, but I do not understand the like extreme. I think, you know what it is? This is what I see with her. I'd love to hear your guys' take on why they're so hard on Stacey. I think she's easy to bully. She reminds me of someone when you're insecure, she's really easy. She also just takes it. Like, she doesn't even really cry or break down. Like, it's almost they can be their total mean girl self to her because she's kind of a dork. She kind of takes it, so she's easy to bully. And I don't like it. I don't like it at all. Maybe it's giving me flashbacks to, like, I don't know, school or something. But yeah, so let's see where this goes. I have high hopes always for Potomac because they're so great. But yeah, Ashley coming at Stacey about her marriage and going back with her husband is rich with a capital R. Would love to hear your guys' opinion. Well, guys, that's all I'm going to cover in this video. I'm going to do a separate video for Salt Lake City. Just for fun. I don't know. I was going to put all three of them in here, but as I'm talking right now, I kind of want to go get Starbucks. I have a little bit more time before my husband brings the kids back, so I'm going to go get a Starbucks. I'm going to come back and I'm going to shoot a Salt Lake City episode, totally separate. On another note, I would love to do lives again. I did like 2 lives maybe when I was doing this channel before, and I really enjoyed them. You guys tell me what you think. Thank you so much for coming back, subscribing, doing all of the things, liking. Please leave a comment. I read every single one of your comments. I do read them all and they make me smile. So please leave a comment. I absolutely love it. You guys are the best. Until next time.
I thought that we were close, and for you to say that just hurts my feelings so bad that I just don't even want to be in this group anymore.
That
And
is
I've only been nothing but fucking nice to you.
That's
done.
not true.
Yes, it is.
No.
The fact that both of you would say that you can't trust me. Stop. Thank you for being a friend.